The small research vessel shuddered violently as it entered Earth's atmosphere. Inside, Lyra gripped her control panel, her four-fingered hands trembling. The blue skin across her slender body pulsed with fear as warning lights flashed around her. She was going to crash on the planet her people feared most. "Emergency landing protocols engage," announced the ship's computer. "Warning, hull integrity compromised. Warning, radiation containment failing." Lyra watched through the viewport as trees and mountains rushed toward her. Her mission to secretly study humans had gone terribly wrong when her ship's engine failed. Now she faced the nightmare scenario every Estrella child was warned about: being stranded on Earth, home of the carnivorous humans. The ship slammed into a forest clearing in the mountains of Montana. Metal tore, systems failed, and Lyra was thrown against the cabin wall. Pain shot through her fragile body. As she drifted in and out of consciousness, she managed to activate the distress beacon. "Help me," she whispered, not knowing if anyone would hear. 50 miles away, Dr. Kate Powell sat at her monitoring station in the Blackfoot Research Facility. The xenobiologist had spent 8 years searching for signs of extraterrestrial life. When her equipment suddenly detected an unusual signal, she nearly spilled her coffee. "Sam, Jack, get in here," she shouted down the hallway. Sam Ortiz rushed in, his medical kit always ready at his side. Jack Miller followed, wiping engine grease from his hands. "What's up, Kate?" Jack asked. Kate pointed to her screen. "That's an artificial signal, non-human origin, and it's coming from Glacier Ridge. Are you sure it's not some military test?" Sam asked, leaning over her shoulder. "Look at this frequency pattern. It's nothing we use." Kate's eyes gleamed with excitement. "And there's a message embedded in it. The computer is still decoding it, but it seems to be a distress call." Jack frowned. "Even if it is aliens, shouldn't we call the government?" Before Kate could answer, her second monitor beeped. "We're picking up another signal. From orbit. Multiple signals, actually." She typed rapidly, her face growing pale. "There are ships up there. They're receiving the distress call too, but..." She listened through her headset. "They're refusing to help." "What? Why?" Sam asked. Kate kept listening. "They're saying something about contamination and dangerous primitives. I think they're talking about us." "We need to go," Kate said suddenly, standing up. "Whatever crashed out there needs help, and no one else is going to provide it." Within 30 minutes, their field vehicle was racing along mountain roads. Olivia Green, the facility's security specialist, drove while constantly scanning for threats. 3 miles ahead, Kate said, checking her portable tracker. They found the crash site easily enough. A small clearing with a sleek, silver craft half buried in the dirt. Trees were broken for 100 yards around it, and the air smelled of ozone and something alien. "There's radiation," Jack warned, checking his meter. "Not immediately dangerous, but we shouldn't stay long." "I'm picking up life signs inside," Sam said, adjusting his scanner. "Weak, but present." Kate approached the ship cautiously. Part of the hull had split open, revealing an entrance. "Hello? We're here to help," she called out. No response came. The team exchanged nervous glances before Kate nodded decisively. "Sam, bring your medical kit. Jack, see if you can stabilize that radiation leak. Olivia, keep watch." Inside the ship, they found her. A slender being with pale blue skin, damaged and unconscious. Her body seemed almost translucent, with a network of glowing veins visible beneath her skin. She wasn't human, not even clothes, but her face held an unmistakable expression of pain. "She's dying," Sam whispered after scanning her, "and I have no idea how to treat her." A sudden noise made them turn. On a still-functioning screen, faces appeared. Alien faces of different species watching them. "Attention, humans," a voice translated through the ship's systems. "Leave the Astrale. She is contaminated. Your primitive species cannot help her. We will observe your actions from orbit, but will not intervene. The screen went dark. Kate looked at the injured alien, then at her team. "They're wrong," she said firmly. "We can help her, and we will." Sam knelt beside the alien, his medical training fighting against his shock. The blue-skinned being was unlike anything he had studied. Her chest moved in strange, uneven patterns, where a human would have a nose. She had thin slits. Her eyes, closed now, were large and angled upward. "I need to move her, but I don't know if that will hurt her more," Sam said, his scanner showing readings he couldn't understand. Kate reached out slowly. "Look at her skin. It's almost translucent." Olivia kept her position by the entrance. "We've got company. There's a light in the sky watching us." "That's not all," Jack called from another section of the ship. "This radiation leak is getting worse. The containment field is failing." Kate made a quick decision. "We need to get her out now. Sam, what's the safest way?" Sam pulled an emergency stretcher from his pack. "We'll immobilize her like we would a human with spinal injuries. It's the best I can do." As they carefully positioned the alien onto the stretcher, her eyes suddenly opened. They were solid violet with no visible pupils. She gasped and tried to move away, her blue skin flashing with pulses of light. "Easy," Kate said softly. "We're here to help you." The alien spoke in a musical language none of them understood. Her terror was clear as she looked at their faces, their teeth. "She's afraid of us," Kate realized. "The carnivore thing. She thinks we're going to eat her." "Great," Olivia muttered. "How do we tell her we're the good guys?" Sam reached into his kit and pulled out a nutrition bar. He took a small bite, then offered it to the alien. She stared at it, confused. "Food," Sam said slowly. "We share food. We won't hurt you." The alien didn't take the bar but stopped struggling. Her body trembled as Jack joined them. "We have 10 minutes, max," he warned. "After that, this whole area will be contaminated." They lifted the stretcher carefully. The alien watched them, still terrified but seemingly understanding they were trying to help. Outside, the forest was eerily silent. Above them, a faint shimmer in the sky revealed at least one spacecraft watching. "Cowards," Olivia said, glaring upward. They could help, but they'd just watch. They loaded the alien into their vehicle. Sam hooked up portable medical equipment while Kate tried to communicate. She pointed to herself. "Kate," she said clearly. Then she gestured to the alien. After several moments, the alien spoke a single word. "Lyra." "I need to go back in," Jack announced. "If that radiation spreads, it could contaminate the groundwater. I can rig a temporary containment." "Too dangerous," Kate argued. "More dangerous to leave it," Jack countered. 5 minutes, that's all I need." While Olivia stayed with Jack, Sam and Kate focused on stabilizing Lyra. Her breathing was labored, and patches of her blue skin were turning a dull gray. "She needs something, but what?" Sam wondered aloud. "Water. Medicine. I don't even know if our medicines would kill her." Kate noticed something strange. The patches of healthy blue skin seemed brighter in the sunlight streaming through the window. On a hunch, she adjusted Lyra's position so more sunlight fell on her body. The alien's reaction was immediate. Her breathing eased slightly, and the blue color intensified where the light touched. "She's photosynthetic," Kate whispered in amazement. "She processes light like a plant." Jack and Olivia returned, running. "Done," Jack panted. "But we need to move. Now." As they drove away, Lyra watched the humans with confusion. These creatures, with their sharp teeth and predatory eyes, were helping her while her own kind observed from safety. Her translator device was working now, processing their language, but she kept silent. She had been warned all her life about the dangerous humans of Earth, yet here they were, risking radiation poisoning to save her. Perhaps everything she had been taught was wrong. The Blackfoot Research Facility buzzed with activity. News of Lyra's arrival had spread, bringing more scientists eager to help. Lisa Chen, the facility's botanist, and Ryan West, a linguist, joined Kate's team as they set up a special room for their alien guest. "If she processes light like a plant," Lisa said, adjusting special lamps, "these should help. I've tuned them to match the spectrum of her home star based on the data from her ship." In the center of the room, Lyra lay on a medical bed. Her condition had improved slightly during the drive back, but gray patches still mirrored her blue skin. Sam monitored her vital signs with modified equipment. "Her body structure is amazing," he told Kate. "No digestive system like ours. She absorbs nutrients through her skin along with light." Ryan sat nearby with a small device recovered from Lyra's ship. "I think this is a translator. I'm trying to get it working properly." Kate approached Lyra slowly. The alien watched her with those large violet eyes, less fearful now, but still wary. "We want to help you," Kate said clearly, pointing to herself and the team. "You're safe here." The device in Ryan's hand suddenly lit up. "Translator activated," it announced in a flat voice. "Language identified. English. Processing." Lyra spoke, and the device translated her musical sounds. "Why are you helping me?" "Your kind eats flesh." Kate smiled gently. "Yes, we eat meat, but we don't eat thinking beings. We help those in need." "The Confederation said humans are dangerous," Lyra replied. "Too violent to join galactic society." "We can be dangerous when threatened," Kate admitted. "But we also care deeply. Is that why the ships in orbit won't help you?" "Because we're here." Lyra's skin pulsed with light patterns. "Not only that. My people, the Australi, are considered less important. We are peaceful, never fight. Some species see us as weak." Ryan leaned forward. "So they abandoned you because you crashed among dangerous humans, and because they don't value your life?" "Yes," Lyra answered simply. Lisa adjusted the lights, increasing their intensity. The gray patches on Lyra's skin began to fade, turning blue again. "These lights are helping," Lyra said, surprise in her voice. "How did you know?" "We observed," Kate explained. "That's what scientists do. We saw how some light affected your skin and guessed your biology might be photosynthetic." Jack entered the room carrying parts salvaged from Lyra's ship. "I've been studying her engine. It didn't fail naturally. Something damaged it, deliberately." Everyone looked at Lyra, who didn't seem surprised. "My mission was not approved by all. I was sent to study humans, to see if the stories were true." "What stories?" Olivia asked. "That you are violent predators who would destroy the balance of the Confederation. That you would eat species like mine if given the chance." Lyra's translator conveyed her words flatly, but her skin flashed with patterns that suggested emotion. A commotion outside interrupted them. A government car had arrived. Colonel Alan Barnes stepped into the facility, flanked by 2 assistants. "Dr. Powell," he said to Kate, "the President sent me. We picked up communications from orbit. It seems Earth has visitors." "More than one," Kate confirmed, gesturing to Lyra. The colonel stared at the alien, his expression professional but amazed. Is she a threat?" "She's a researcher," Kate said firmly. "Like us, and she needs our protection." "From whom?" Kate pointed upward. "The Galactic Confederation has ships in orbit. They refuse to help her but demand her return. They've been keeping Earth isolated because they fear us." Colonel Barnes frowned. "Why would advanced civilizations fear humans?" Lyra's translator spoke. "Because you fight for what you believe in. Most species in the Confederation avoid conflict at all costs, even if it means abandoning their own." "Like they abandoned you," Sam said quietly. "Yes." Lyra's skin glowed brighter as the special lights took effect. "I was taught humans were monsters. Instead, you've shown me more kindness than my own kind. Perhaps the Confederation fears you because they don't understand what drives you." Colonel Barnes looked at Kate. "The President needs to know everything. This changes our entire understanding of our place in the universe." Kate nodded. "Tell him we're not alone out there. but we might be more alone than we thought in our willingness to help others. 3 days passed. Lyra grew stronger under the special lights Lisa had created. The gray patches on her skin were almost gone. She spent hours talking with the humans, learning their language beyond what the translator could provide. Kate visited most often, bringing news and questions. "The world knows about you now," Kate told Lyra on the 4th morning. Colonel Barnes couldn't keep it secret. Lyra stood by the window, looking at the Montana mountains. "Are they afraid?" "Some are. Others are excited. Every country wants to meet you." Kate sat on a chair nearby. "The Confederation ships are still in orbit. More have arrived." "A blockade," Lyra said softly. "They fear what will happen if humans join galactic society." Outside the facility, a small crowd of reporters and curious locals had gathered. Police kept them at a distance. Inside, the research team continued their work, now with government oversight. Colonel Barnes entered the room, his face serious. "Dr. Powell, we have a situation. The Confederation has sent a formal message. They demand we return Lyra to them within 2 days." "Did they finally offer medical help?" Kate asked. "No. They claim she's carrying important scientific data that belongs to them." Lyra's skin flashed with patterns the humans now recognize as anger. "They care about the data I collected, not about me." Ryan joined them, carrying the small device. "I've been analyzing communications from the ships. Some are arguing among themselves. Not all agree with the blockade. Which means we might have allies up there," Colonel Barnes noted. In the lab section, Sam and Lisa were making a breakthrough. They called Kate and Lyra to join them. "We've been analyzing Lyra's biology," Lisa explained, pointing to plant samples. "These Earth plants have similar light-processing structures. I've modified them to create a medicine that might help her heal completely." "Will it work?" Kate asked. Sam nodded. "We tested it on samples of Lyra's tissue. The results are promising." Lyra looked at the green liquid in a small container. "You created this for me. Just one person." "Of course," Lisa said simply. "That's what we do." Later that evening, as Lyra rested after her first treatment, Jack and Olivia guarded her room. Outside, the situation was growing tense. News helicopters circled the area. Online, people debated what the alien visitor meant for humanity. "I don't like this," Olivia said. "Too many eyes on us." Jack agreed. "And those ships up there make me nervous. What if they decide to take her by force?" Inside the room, Lyra was not sleeping. She was using a small communication device recovered from her ship, listening to Confederation broadcasts. Her face grew sad as she heard her people discussed as if they were property, not equals. A soft knock came at the door. Kate entered with Colonel Barnes and an older man in a suit. "Lyra, this is Dr. Frank Daniels. He represents the United Nations." Dr. Daniels smiled kindly. "I'm honored to meet you. I have a message from Earth's leaders. We will not return you to the Confederation against your will. You have our protection." Lyra's skin glowed brightly, even though it might cause trouble with beings far more advanced than you. "Even so," Dr. Daniels confirmed. "We've had contact from 3 other Confederation ships. They don't agree with the official position. They say there are others who believe humans should be welcomed into galactic society." "A division," Colonel Barnes explained. "Your presence here has forced them to take sides." Kate sat beside Lyra. "What did you learn about us during your mission?" "That everything we were told was wrong," Lyra said. "You are predators, yes. You eat meat and have fighting instincts. But those same instincts make you protect others fiercely. You helped me when my own people would not." A warning alarm suddenly blared through the facility. Olivia rushed in. "We have a problem. The Confederation ships are moving into lower orbit, and they're sending down shuttles." Colonel Barnes grabbed his phone. "Where?" "Here. They'll land in 20 minutes." Kate looked at Lyra. "What do they want?" "Not just me," Lyra said, her skin pulsing with fear patterns. They want to make sure humans never join the wider galaxy. I've seen their true plans in these transmissions. They fear you because you might inspire other species to stand up for themselves. Military vehicles surrounded the research facility. Soldiers took positions as helicopters circled overhead. Inside, Colonel Barnes organized the staff into secure areas. "The President has authorized me to protect this facility," he told Kate and her team. "We won't give up Lyra or let them take her by force." Jack had been working with Ryan to extract more data from Lyra's ship. They rushed into the room with a small computer device. "You need to see this," Jack said, placing it on the table. "We recovered the ship's security recordings." The screen showed Lyra in her ship before the crash. Another alien appeared on her communication screen. Tall, gray-skinned, with 4 eyes. "Your mission is compromised, Researcher Lyra," the alien said. "Return to the fleet immediately." "But my studies of humans are just beginning," Lyra protested. "They're not what we were told. That information is not for public knowledge. The Council has decided Earth will remain isolated." The recording jumped ahead. Lyra's ship shook violently. "Something hit us," Lyra cried to someone off-screen. "Engine containment failing." Another voice responded. "This is Confederation security. Your ship was damaged by space debris. We cannot assist due to your proximity to Earth." Jack paused the recording. "There was no space debris. We found evidence of weapon damage on her engine." "They shot her down," Kate said in shock. Lyra's skin pulsed with dark blue patterns of sadness. "Because I questioned their views about humans." Ryan pointed to another recording. "This is worse." After she crashed. This recording showed several alien commanders discussing Lyra's situation. Their translated words appeared as text. "The Estrelli researcher is alive but stranded among humans. Perfect. We will observe. If the humans eat her or experiment on her, it proves our position. And if they help her, they won't. They're predators. But if they try, we'll recover her before she reveals too much. This incident will provide excellent propaganda for keeping Earth isolated." The room fell silent. Lyra looked at the humans surrounding her, not eating her, not hurting her, but risking their safety to protect her. "They wanted me to die," she said softly, "to prove humans are monsters." Outside, the first Confederation shuttle was landing in a field half a mile away. Colonel Barnes received updates through his earpiece. 3 shuttles. Different designs. Possibly different species. "We need to show everyone the truth," Kate said firmly. "Not just humans, but all species in the Confederation." Lisa looked at the communication equipment they'd salvaged. "Can we broadcast these recordings?" "Not with this," Jack said. But Lyra's ship had a powerful transmitter. "If I could repair it." "Too late," Olivia interrupted, looking through binoculars. "They're coming. At least 20 aliens, heavily armed." Dr. Daniels, who had been quietly listening, suddenly spoke up. "We have an alternative. The United Nations has been preparing for first contact for decades. We have a satellite network that can boost signals across the solar system." "Would it reach Confederation ships?" Kate asked. "If we route it through Lyra's translator to match their frequencies, yes." Colonel Barnes nodded. "Do it. I'll buy you time." He left to organize the defense. San helped Lyra to stand. She was still weak but determined. "I need to speak to my people directly," she said. "All of them, not just the Council." As they worked to set up the broadcast, Ryan discovered something in Lyra's data files. "Look at this population data," he told Kate. "The Estrelli and several other peaceful species make up over 60% of the Confederation, but they have less than 20% representation on the Council. A minority keeping control through fear," Kate realized. Outside, the alien delegation approached the facility gates. Their message was transmitted to screens inside. "Surrender the Estrelli researcher and all data collected. Humans are not authorized for contact with Confederation species. Compliance is mandatory." Lyra stood before the hastily assembled camera. Her blue skin glowed with determination. I'm ready, she told her human friends. It's time everyone learned the truth about Earth's carnivorous humans and about the real predators in our galaxy. The facility buzzed with tension as Jack and Ryan worked to connect Lyra's translator to the UN satellite network. Outside, Colonel Barnes and his soldiers formed a line between the building and the approaching aliens. They're almost at the gate, Olivia reported, watching through a window. 3 different species. The leaders appear to be the tall gray ones with 4 eyes. Tellurians, Lyra explained. They control most of the council. The others are probably Vex and Meridian forces. Dr. Daniels received a call. The president is addressing the world now. All nations have agreed to present a united front. The message is clear. Lyra stays if she wishes to stay. Sam checked Lyra's vital signs once more. Are you strong enough for this? I must be, she replied. Her blue skin had almost completely healed thanks to Lisa's plant-based medicine. My people need to know the truth. Kate stood beside her friend. In the short time they had known each other, a strong bond had formed between the human scientist and the alien researcher. Both were seekers of truth in their own way. Satellite link established, Jack announced. Ryan, how's the translation matrix? Ready. This will broadcast in all major Confederation languages simultaneously. Ryan adjusted some settings. We'll also be transmitting the evidence files automatically. A loud voice came over speakers outside, amplified and translated. This is Commander Zell of the Confederation Security Force. You are harboring an unauthorized researcher and stolen data. Surrender her now or face consequences. Lisa looked worried. What kind of consequences can they deliver? Nothing too severe, Lyra said. The Council fears direct conflict. That's why they rely on isolation and propaganda. Broadcast ready, Jack confirmed. Global networks are standing by to transmit as well. The whole world will see this. Kate squeezed Lyra's hand. Ready? Lyra nodded. They activated the system. Lyra's image was projected to screens across Earth and to every ship in the Confederation fleet. Her voice, translated into hundreds of languages, rang out clear and strong. People of Earth and citizens of the Galactic Confederation, I am Lyra, an Australi researcher. What I tell you now is the truth, supported by evidence your council has hidden. On screens throughout the facility, they could see her broadcast reaching ships in orbit. Some Confederation vessels moved closer, as if listening more intently. I was sent to study humans in secret. When I reported that they were not the monsters we were told, my ship was damaged by Confederation forces. I crashed on Earth, expected to die. She gestured to the humans around her. These dangerous carnivores risked radiation exposure to save me. They created special lights and medicines for my alien biology. They offered protection when the Council demanded my return. Not once did they treat me as less than equal. The recordings began playing alongside her words. The attack on her ship, the commanders hoping she would be harmed to justify their propaganda. For generations, the Council has kept Earth isolated, not because humans are dangerous, but because they fear human compassion would inspire rebellion. They fear humans would ask why peaceful species like mine are treated as lesser beings. Outside, the Confederation forces had stopped advancing. More shuttles were landing, but these bore different markings. Colonel Barnes received a message in his earpiece. Sir, 3 more alien groups have landed. But they're standing with us, not against us. On the broadcast, Lyra continued. The Council claims humans are too violent to join galactic society. Yet it was humans who saved me while my own kind abandoned me. It was humans who created medicine for one alien when the Confederation would let me die to prove a point. Her skin glowed with emotion. I ask all species who believe in truth and justice to stand with Earth today. Show the Council that their fear-mongering will no longer work. Inside one of the newly arrived shuttles, representatives from 7 Confederation species watched Lyra's broadcast. Their leader, a tall, plant-like being, turned to his companions. It is as our sources reported. The humans protected her. He activated his communication device. Signal the fleet. Tell them we stand with Earth. In orbit, ships began to move. Some positioned themselves protectively between Earth and the Council forces. The balance was shifting. 3 days after Lyra's broadcast, the Montana sky filled with ships. Not in threat, but in peace. The Confederation Council had called for an emergency meeting, the first ever held on Earth. Inside a large conference room hastily prepared at the research facility, representatives from 27 species gathered. Humans from every major nation sat on one side. The Confederation Council members sat opposite them, looking uncomfortable. Lyra stood in the center, her blue skin healthy and glowing. Beside her stood Kate, Sam, Jack, Lisa, Ryan, and Olivia, the humans who had saved her when her own kind would not. "This gathering is unprecedented," announced a Tellurian council member named Vox. "But recent events demand we address the situation directly." Dr. Daniels spoke for Earth. "We welcome this dialogue. For too long, your Confederation has watched us from afar, judging without understanding." The plant-like being who had led the friendly ship stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Thren of the Forian Alliance. We represent the majority of Confederation citizens who no longer accept the Council's policies of fear." Commander Zell, who had led the forces demanding Lyra's return, glared. "The Council protects the balance of our society. Humans are unpredictable. Dangerous. Dangerous." Kate stepped forward. "We had every reason to fear Lyra when she crashed here. An alien being, completely unknown to us. Yet our first instinct was to help." Lyra's translator conveyed her musical voice. "While my own people were ordered to abandon me, these humans risked radiation poisoning to save me. They created medicine for a species they had never met before. They stood against armed forces to protect one alien visitor." A murmur passed through the gathered aliens. Many nodded in agreement. "The records are clear," Ambassador Thren said. "The Council deliberately shot down researcher Lyra's ship when her reports contradicted their narrative about humans. They hoped humans would harm her, proving their point. Instead," Sam added, "we proved that compassion isn't weakness, it's strength." Outside, thousands of people had gathered, watching on large screens. Similar scenes played out in cities worldwide. Humans were meeting their galactic neighbors for the first time, not in fear, but in hope. Commander Zell stood. "Humans eat other living things. They have wars. They are predators by nature." "Yes," Jack replied simply. "We are predators with compassion. We fight to protect. We stand up for those who cannot stand for themselves." Lisa stepped forward with a data tablet. "We've studied Confederation history from Lyra's files. Your so-called peaceful society has allowed entire species to suffer rather than risk conflict. You've watched planets die because intervention was deemed too disruptive." "Sometimes true peace requires action," Colonel Barnes added. "Sometimes you must stand and fight for what's right." Ambassador Thren addressed the Council directly. "The Forian Alliance calls for a vote of no confidence in the current Council. We propose a new assembly with equal representation for all species, including humans." The vote was swift and decisive. The majority of Confederation representatives stood with Thren. Power had shifted. As the formal proceedings concluded, Lyra approached Kate and her team. "The new Galactic Assembly has asked me to remain on Earth as the first official ambassador," she said, her skin pulsing with joy patterns. "And they've requested human representatives to join the assembly." Kate smiled. "Who will they send?" Colonel Barnes approached with Dr. Daniels. "The United Nations has made their selections." He handed Kate an envelope. "Congratulations, Ambassador Powell." Kate opened it in shock. The letter named her, Sam, Jack, Lisa, Ryan, and Olivia as Earth's first representatives to the Galactic Assembly. Lyra's translator couldn't fully convey the emotion in her voice. "You saved one alien when you could have looked away. Now you will help save countless more through your example." Outside, the sun set behind the mountains. Human and alien ships glowed in the darkening sky. What had begun with one act of compassion, helping an abandoned alien girl when others would not, had changed the course of galactic history. The so-called carnivorous humans had shown the stars that true strength comes not from avoiding conflict, but from having something worth fighting for, and someone worth protecting.